Diabetes is bad news for the kidneys. High levels of glucose in the blood damage tiny blood vessels, including those in the kidneys. So I'm going to test myself to see how well I can keep my blood glucose under control. And of course, we're talking about another organ as well now. We're talking about the pancreas, because the pancreas produces the insulin that brings down blood glucose. So if I were to eat a meal rich in sugar, then my pancreas should start producing insulin to help to bring that blood glucose down. This device is used by thousands of diabetics every day, and it will give me a baseline reading of my blood glucose level after starving myself for the last 12 hours. Ow! Just a drop of blood is needed on the reactive strip, and within seconds it gives a reading. 4.9. So that's sort of the lower end of the normal range. Your blood glucose should be between about 4 and 8 millimoles. So in other words, millimoles per litre, that is 4.9. Right, now for some food. Where shall I start? Not the healthiest of breakfast, but the cake and glucose drink will get sugar into my bloodstream fast. And I want to see just how quickly that happens. Oh, I think it might be time to test my blood sugar again. It also gives me a bit of a rest from eating as well. Ow! 10.2. In just 10 minutes, lots of sugar from this food and drink has got into my blood. As part of this experiment, I need to test my blood sugar every few minutes and record the results on a graph. Then we'll be able to see exactly what happens when the pancreas and its insulin get to work. It started off about there, and at 10 minutes, it's gone up to 10.2, so that is quite a rise. So now my pancreas should be pumping out insulin, but I'm also still absorbing sugar from my guts into my blood. Right, while my blood glucose is up high like that, I'm going to test my urine to see if there's any glucose in there. Now, there shouldn't be, because although the kidneys will be filtering glucose out of the blood, they should be putting it all back in again, so none of it should actually escape into the urine. But we'll see, shall we? Lovely. There we go, a sample of urine. Now to test this, to see if there's any glucose in it. Now if you remember, there's quite a lot of glucose in my blood at the moment, about 10 millimoles per litre. But if my kidneys are working properly, there shouldn't actually be any glucose at all in my urine. So... Right. Second square to the bottom there is still blue. It definitely hasn't gone green. It's still blue. That means there's no glucose at all in my urine, which is fantastic. The kidneys are putting all the glucose back into my blood again. Great. I'm relieved to see that my kidneys aren't leaking any glucose into my urine, but I still want to see what's going on with my blood glucose levels. 25 minutes after the sugary food and 7.1. The insulin kicks in. So we're now at 25 and it's coming back down again. But then, I'm not diabetic. If you're a diabetic, what you wouldn't see is the blood sugar being brought back down again by the effect of insulin. What you'd see is the blood sugar carrying on rising, and that's either because your pancreas isn't making enough insulin, or it's because your body is ignoring the message and it's not taking the glucose out of the blood. But either way, the blood glucose levels can rise to dangerously high levels, which is why it is so incredibly important to control your blood glucose if you're diabetic.